All right, let's be honest. If you've ever felt like you're just drowning in a sea of coding problems, staring at your screen wondering if you're actually getting any better, then this is for you. We're going to break down a totally systematic approach from the book How to Solve Algorithm Problems that's designed to make this whole process way less painful.
Yeah, that probably sounds really familiar, right? This quote it nails it. That feeling of being completely overwhelmed. It's pretty much a universal experience when you're prepping for a big tech interview. You put in all the hours, you're grinding on weekends, but that stress and that little voice of self-doubt, it can be relentless.
And that feeling, it's not random. It's actually a cycle. Let's call it the interview stress cycle. We're going to talk about what it is because once you understand it, well, that's the first real step to breaking out of it for good. So here's the absolute biggest takeaway, the thing that so many of us get wrong. Success in these interviews isn't just about how many hours you clock in. Seriously, just grinding away on random problems is a one-way ticket to burnout, and you might not even be improving. The key is to shift your entire mindset from pure effort to pure effectiveness. It's all about having a system. Okay, so what does an effective system even look like? Well, it all starts with having a blueprint. Think of it as a repeatable, step-by-step guide that you can use on any algorithm problem they throw at you. It takes all the guesswork and panic out of the equation. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you walk into that room, get a problem you have never seen before, and just not panic? The answer isn't knowing every problem in existence. The answer is having a process you can trust every single time. And here it is. This is your roadmap. Now look closely. The first 4 steps happen before you write a single line of code. You understand, you formalize, you reread, and you come up with your own examples. This is the foundation. Only then, at step 5, do you write what's called a brute force solution. The goal here isn't to be clever, it's just to get something on the board that actually works. From there, you analyze it, and then, step 7 is where the magic happens. You optimize, you find the slow parts, and you make them better. Then you prove it with a final analysis. Now let's talk about why that optimization step is such a massive deal. A brute force solution might be O of n squared. That sounds technical, but it just means it gets slow, fast. For a list with 1,000,000 items, it could literally take hours to run. But an optimized O of n solution, that could do the exact same job in just a few seconds. And that right there is the difference between a job offer and a we'll keep your resume on file. Okay, so the 8-step blueprint is your tactical weapon for any single problem. It's amazing. But what if there is a way to get better at solving all problems? That's the next level up. This is about learning how to learn. And we do that with something called the FGCC Framework. It stands for focus, group, convert, and communicate. The whole point is to stop treating every problem like it's a completely new, unique monster. Instead, this framework helps you see the connections, the underlying patterns that just show up over and over and over again. So here's how it works. First, as you're practicing, you focus on spotting these patterns. You're like a detective looking for clues. When you see a pattern, you group similar problems together into a mental bucket. Then, you convert that shared pattern into a reusable code template that you can adapt. And finally, and this one's huge, you communicate it. Try to explain a pattern to a friend. You will find out real quick if you actually understand it or not. And here is a perfect example in action. You've got finding permutations, finding combinations, letter combinations of a phone number. On the surface, these look like 3 totally different challenges, right? But they're not. They are all just variations of one single powerful pattern, backtracking. Once you realize that, you don't need to invent 3 solutions from scratch. You just need to adapt one core idea. That is the incredible power of this framework. So let's put it all together. We have the step-by-step blueprint for one problem, and we have the big picture framework for connecting all the problems. How do we combine these into a new game plan that you can actually start using today? Here it is, your new game plan. First, you commit. You use the 8-step blueprint for every single problem you practice. No more jumping straight to code. Second, you start thinking in patterns using FGCC. Your goal is no longer to memorize 500 solutions. Your goal is to master 20 patterns. This whole shift is about prioritizing how well you study, not just how long. And that is how you build genuine, unshakable confidence. And that brings us to the final question. And this one is for you. Thinking in patterns isn't just about passing an interview. It's about building a fundamental toolkit for your entire career. So, what's it going to be? What's the very first pattern you are going to absolutely master? 2 pointers, backtracking, sliding window? Pick one and put this new game plan into action.